You're listening to Popcorn in Orbit, a podcast for sci-fi lovers of all galaxies, hosted by filmmakers Jeremy Major and Ian P. Causer.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this ongoing sci-fi conversation that Ian Causer and I are having. Ian, how you doing today?
I'm great, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, everything good in the fine country of England?
Yes. Didn't have any heating for the last 24 hours, but the boiler's just been fixed and I'm warming up nicely.
Oh, my gosh.
How about Canada? Is everything good over there?
Everything's good here, yeah. No issues whatsoever. And so how are you making out with the puppy?
Great. She's just wonderful.
Good.
It's carnage, but it's wonderful carnage.
Right. Did she destroy your boiler?
She could well have done, actually. You hadn't thought about that. She's destroyed mostly everything else. So it is,
Right.
She's on the rampage.
Yes.
Bless her. But no, she's lovely. Thank you, buddy.
All right, that's good. That's good. So a little different episode today. What we want to talk about is perhaps an underserved conversation in the science fiction realm, and that is about sci-fi comedy.
Yeah.
I think often it's not necessarily taken seriously. So, Ian, take it away. What do you want to discuss today?
A couple of weeks ago, you sent me a challenge with an X-Files quiz.
I
Do you
did,
remember?
yes.
Yeah. And you come up with these questions for the X-Files, and some of them were very, very hard, like, what's Chris Carter's social security number? What's David Duchovny's blood type? And you sprung that on me. So
I did, yeah.
This is payback's a bitch, and
Oh, boy.
It's payback. So no, at the end of the, in all seriousness, at the end of the episode, you said, "Oh, maybe I'd do one on a Seinfeld quiz." So I've jumped on that. I've jumped on it.
Okay.
And I have a quiz lined up for you on the Seinfeld show. Which
So this is one giant segue to that, is it?
yes, huge. Yeah, had to squeeze it in somehow. We I did Google Sci-Fi Seinfeld.
Yes.
To try to make it just sci-fi Seinfeld
Okay.
questions.
All right. Interesting.
Okay.
Well, you know, the other interesting thing is if you go to these like Comic-Con type events, you get, like, I always think of them as being, very much fandom type,
Yeah.
often sci-fi, but you get these characters from The Office, from Seinfeld, like the Soup Nazi. I've seen him at Comic-Con. You know what I mean?
I've seen numerous Kramers.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. At least one or two Kramers at every con I've attended.
Wow.
And it's the hair, isn't it, that they get?
I think you're right. Yeah.
And I saw one guy, genuinely, he was trying to do the Kramer sort of spin.
Oh, yeah.
And he cricked his own neck. And you just heard this
Oh, my
yelp
gosh.
of pain. You're like, yeah.
Wow.
Amateurs shouldn't try it.
I think I spent most of the 90s doing the Kramer spin.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. It's the room and the way he enters a room,
Absolutely. It's brilliant.
Phenomenal.
I mean, everyone loves a good character, right? And he just had so much personality.
He really did. He's fantastic. It's a fantastic show. I like it as well.
Yeah. And I think the reason you picked up on that is because I have said to you that if there's one show that I watched religiously, it's that one.
Yeah.
And I do believe I've seen every episode. Now, it was 30 years ago. Or whatever the heck it was, 20 some odd years ago. So it might be a little rusty, but
like I said when you tested me on the X-Files,
yeah,
it's almost better to get a few wrong.
Right. Wait, why was that?
Because it makes you look less of a nerd. You see, if you get like a 50%,
right,
then everybody's, oh no, well, this is a fully rounded adult individual.
I see what
Whereas
you're saying.
if you get 100%,
fair.
Not quite so cool.
Yeah,
so,
all right.
I'll start with the couple of questions that I've come up with that are sci-fi Seinfeld related.
Okay, wow. All right, we're going right into it here. One
easy one.
Yeah.
One tricky one.
Sci-fi and Seinfeld related.
Yeah. Easier one first.
Oh boy.
Who is Seinfeld's hero?
Who is Seinfeld's hero? There's a connection with this person to science fiction?
There is. Do you want them? I'll give you multiple choice.
Well, hang on one sec. Let me just think for half a second. I will need multiple choice. This is the easy one? You put the pressure on by saying that.
Sorry. He mentions it all the time. And is it Spider-Man? Is it Batman?
Oh.
Is it Wonder Woman? Or is it Superman?
Oh my gosh. Superman?
Yes.
Okay.
See, you need to have more confidence.
I feel like that was a blind guess.
There's is there not a statue in his apartment of Superman? Like a little figurine that's in every episode?
Yeah, there probably is.
Okay, I feel like the more challenging question I've got for you, I might rephrase to make slightly easier.
Please.
In the heart attack episode from early in season 1,
Okay.
Jerry has a dream about a sci-fi film and gets up to write down a potential comedy bit. However, he can't read his own writing the next morning. Eventually, he sees a sci-fi movie on television that sparked the dream.
Wow.
Larry David plays an unidentified futuristic being shouting about, and he's just screaming 3 words. What are those 3 words?
Oh my gosh. Season 1, eh? I
Yeah.
can't. Is there multiple choice on this, or is that? No,
There isn't
you
on
have
this
to make
one.
it up right
Yeah,
now.
I have to make it up on the spot.
All right, then I'm going to take a fail on this one.
Flaming Globe Sigmund.
Oh my gosh, I never would have got that.
When you got that, no.
Wow.
It sits with me because I love Jerry Seinfeld to bits.
Yes.
There's not many comedians I put above him.
Right.
But one of the very few is Larry David.
Is
I'm a
Larry, yeah.
huge
Yeah.
Larry David fan, so I had to find that one out. Okay.
My, oh my.
So this is more generic Seinfeld.
Okay.
You're on 50%. That's fine. 50% is fine. Whilst viewing an operation, what kind of candy did Kramer and Jerry drop into the body?
Oh.
I've got multiple choice if you want.
It's a junior mint. Or just tell me yes or no.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, all right. It's very refreshing.
We're at 66%.
Okay.
What's the name of the video store that the Seinfeld gang rents movies from?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Is it Champagne Video, Champion Video, Chester Video, or Charlie's Video?
Chester?
That's incorrect. It's Champagne Video.
Okay.
On what talk show did Jerry have to wear the pirate-style shirt?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the pirate. That is a late night show. It's either, well, it's NBC, so it was Jay Leno? No.
It might be. I've got. I don't know what Jay's show was called. Was that the Tonight Show?
The Tonight Show. Yeah. Yes, I believe so.
It's actually the Today Show.
The Today Show?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Whose dancing is well known for its weirdness?
Oh, Elaine.
Correct.
Yeah.
What did Kramer name his rooster?
Oh, Little Jerry Seinfeld.
Correct. Didn't even need the multiple choice.
Little Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, because he started cockfighting with this thing. And which actually, I believe there's a character in that episode at the cockfight who's in Jurassic Park.
Really?
Basically, the guy at the beginning of Jurassic Park, when they find it's the staff with the bug in the
amber.
The amber, yes, thank you. And it's the actor who, he's like El Caindro or whatever.
Yeah.
Grant's like me. He's a digger, right? And
yeah.
It's that guy. He's the guy who runs this. I think it's like a variety store / and in the back they do the cockfighting.
Right.
And he's like Little Jerry Seinfeld. Anyway, okay, very memorable. All right, carry on.
What video game is George a master of?
Whoa. Frogger?
It is one of the 4 multiple choices. And it's correct.
Wow.
This is actually one of my favorite episodes this question comes from. Which Yankee player did George first talk to about uniforms before submitting that the material should be changed from polyester to cotton?
Oh, I should know this. Is there multiple choice on this?
There always are. You do so well without them. Is it Bernie Williams, Wade Boggs, Don Mattingly, or Danny Tartable?
Danny.
Correct. Well done, Jay.
Wow.
You're crushing this.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think is that the job where George quits, regrets it, and then goes back and pretends he never quit on the Friday. He just turns back up on the Monday.
I believe that did happen, yes.
Yeah. And the reason I love that story is that's taken directly from Larry David's life.
Really?
So he did that himself in a job. He quit. Regretted it over the weekend and just went back and pretending like nothing happened. That takes balls to do that.
That really does, yeah. That really does.
Okay, moving on. In the episode The Stall, Elaine's rock climbing boyfriend Tony dislikes which kind of sandwiches?
That one is not coming back quite so readily.
Is it egg salad, peanut butter, grilled cheese, or tuna?
I'm going to say peanut butter.
Correct.
Okay. I almost said that before you gave me the options. Yeah.
Which of the following is not a reason Jerry or George have broken up with a woman? She sucked on a peach pit. She kept paying for dinner. She shushed them, or she beat them at chess.
Wow, I don't actually remember a couple of those. Beating at chess?
She kept paying for dinner. That's the correct answer. Yeah, you can't imagine George having a problem with that, can you?
No.
The stock in which Jerry and George each invest $2,500 is a company that does what?
I don't know.
Invented a robot butcher, sells health insurance, televises opera, or invented a roll-out tie dispenser?
Roll-out tie dispenser?
That's what I'd have gone with, but it's wrong. It's televises opera.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, those are more obscure. Those are challenging.
What is Kramer's first name? It's there.
Yeah, it comes out near the end. Yeah. Constance.
Cosmo.
Oh my gosh. Why did I say Constance? Yes, Cosmo Kramer. Right.
Which of the following jobs did Jerry not have? Doorman, mailman, host of a pledge drive, or driving the back of a fire truck?
Doorman? I don't know. No, that doesn't seem right.
No, it's driving the back of a fire truck.
Really? Okay, that sounded like something that could have happened.
So, that's the end of the quiz. And the quiz does say that you scored better than 58% of all other quiz takers.
Oh, really?
Do you think you'd have got more right 30 years ago? Or do you think it's just... Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's, it fades a little.
It does. It's a fantastic sitcom, isn't it?
It is. I used to have watch parties. I had people come over on Thursday night just to watch.
How did you enjoy being in the hot seat?
I'm gonna have to mop up my my brow and my armpits. Yeah, whew, it's tense.
You did great.
Tense.
No more spot quizzes, I promise.
In this show, is that?
Yes, in this show. Yeah.
All right. So, do you want to talk about some sci-fi films?
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed looking at this today is how many science fiction films are kind of satire based. Do you know what I mean? Like, like your Mars Attacks and, your Don't Look Ups and, things like that. They're kind of poking fun at various things, governments and whatnot.
And films like Galaxy Quest and Spaceballs are satirizing sci-fi itself.
Yeah, it's true. Isn't it?
It is, yeah. So, and ironically, I think the better sci-fi comedy films aren't satirical.
Okay, give me an example.
Ghostbusters.
Okay, yeah.
Ghostbusters is probably my favorite sci-fi comedy film, the original.
Yeah. And it walks that line into paranormal.
Yeah, it does. It has to be science related though, because of the crossing of the streams and the way that they zap these things. There's definitely sci-fi
machinery. And
there's high-tech stuff in there. But to me, what they did there that works so well is it's a comedy film that happens to be science fiction and paranormal.
Yes.
As opposed to a satirical film, which is the only shots it takes are other sci-fi things like Star Wars and what have you.
Yeah.
I love Spaceballs because John Candy's in it and I adore John Candy. Right. But you can't compare that to Ghostbusters in terms of quality or, you just can't.
Yeah. No, Spaceballs, I know there are people who still watch that. They have like an annual viewing of Spaceballs.
Yeah.
And it's the absurd, right? It
is.
Your expectations are different.
They are different. And the time, Rick Moranis is great in it. John Candy's great in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Mel Brooks, so of course it's funny. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my personal taste, but whenever I'm watching a film like that, or like scary movie, after half an hour, I've kind of had enough of that gag. Does that make any sense? It's like,
Yeah.
well, every gag's now going to be, I know what they're all lined up to be here.
Yeah.
All the bits are about taking the mickey out of cliche within the genre.
Yes.
And maybe that's just not to my personal taste, but I get fed up, bored with that quite quickly.
Right.
So I'd rather sit down and watch Ghostbusters or Paul or Men in Black or something that's more comedy driven rather than just poking fun at the genre you happen to be sat in.
It takes itself a little more seriously. You've got a good plot and actual stakes. And,
yes, there is. And but to be fair, I'm not a big fan of satire and comedy anyway. Really.
Yeah, I hear you.
It gets tiresome for me quite quickly.
Right.
Whereas Ghostbusters doesn't get tiresome because the jokes aren't sort of winking at you, breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
That it's truly genuine comedy. It's funny in its own right. Bill Murray is funny in his own right in that film.
And comedy is actors are so important. The character, like so much of it hangs on the performers.
It really does. Bill Murray's so good in Ghostbusters. As is Dan Aykroyd,
Nobody else could do that, those roles.
Nobody else could do that, no. We both love comedy as a genre in its own right. Take it away from sci-fi. Who doesn't love good comedy,
Yeah.
To me, the talent in comedy is probably more important than the talent in almost any other genre.
Yeah.
Because the greatest actors that have ever lived can't necessarily do comedy.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
I think the one that crosses the dividing line between great dramatic actor and a great comedic actor is Robert De Niro. I think he can do comedy.
Yeah, he really can.
Midnight Run is a favourite of mine, and Meet the Parents,
the
first film, was brilliant. And he seems to be able to do both, but more often than not, getting that talent in place in the comedy is key.
I agreed. I've often said that, and this may be controversial, that people like a Will Ferrell, for example, should get more like awards respect.
Yes.
Even, Jim Carrey. Just because they're in a comedy, I feel like they get neglected. But if you actually look at the commitment to the role and just like how they pull it off,
exactly.
To me, it's brilliant.
It is. It's genius.
Yeah.
Good luck anybody else taking Jim Carrey role on.
Yeah.
And doing it to the Jim Carrey level of zany. So what I'd like to see is a Best Comedy Performance Academy Awards. Yeah,
if they're going to get neglected in the main one, then let's have their own.
Because more often than not, traditionally, the films that have got comedy in the genre that have at least garnered nominations are what I'd call dramedies, like Sideways, which is a brilliant film. Yeah. But it's a dramedy. It's not a pure comedy.
Right.
But those are the ones that get the nominations. Yeah. But there's like 5 gags in the whole of Sideways. The rest of it is very serious. Yeah. To me, when I watch Steve Martin in The Jerk, it's like it's exceptional. Yeah. Who else could play the jerk like Steve Martin? Maybe Jim Carrey, maybe Jerry Lewis back in the day. That's it. I'd just like to see them get their props.
I agree.
Tina Fey deserves an Oscar for me. Just give her an Oscar. I don't care what it is. Is it writing? Is it performing? She's a genius. So can we get that one? For anything. Can we get her an Oscar, please?
Yeah.
Because
maybe a Lifetime.
I think if you gave her a Lifetime one, she'd be standing up going, am I dying? Why am I getting this? But I do believe people like her should be getting their props on the biggest night in Hollywood.
I agree.
What would be your favourite? Because let's factor in Back to the Future could be considered.
Okay. Yep.
Sci-fi comedy.
I'll accept that.
What would you consider your favorite sci-fi comedy movie?
If Back to the Future is in there, then I would put it as my favorite. I mean, it's way up there for me in any list. Yeah.
And would it be 1 rather than 2? That was my second question.
Well, I think 1 is an excellent film because of when it came out. Number 2, I probably in some ways liked more because it felt almost more imaginative. I really liked that kind of vision of the future and whatever else. I mean, now it's kind of funny and hokey to see that. I still am in pursuit of those shoes that he puts on.
Yeah.
In the future, they look incredibly comfortable, Nikes. So the number 2 would be my first Number 1, second. And I really enjoyed the third one, to be honest with you.
Is that the Wild West?
Yeah, the Wild West.
Yeah.
But it's a good story. There's a love story at the backdrop,
Yeah.
And they just have developed Emmett so well, Doc Brown, that we're happy to see him and follow his love story essentially.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. What about you?
I'd go with Ghostbusters, the original.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. I do love Paul. I think Simon Pegg's brilliant. I thought that was
Paul
a really
is
good
fun.
film. It's a really good film.
I had really low expectations of that movie and enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah. I think sometimes that's not just with movies, but in life generally. Like if I'm not looking forward to a night out, that often tends to be a great night out,
Yeah.
And conversely, if you're really looking forward to a night out, it can often fall a little flat because your expectations are so high. And
It's
I do
true,
think
isn't it?
that's the same with music and movies and all these things.
Yeah.
Any honorable mentions? Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah. Thor Ragnarok was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Taika's rock character
Is it
was
Korg?
hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really is.
Hilarious.
It's the voice as well. It's just so good.
And I think he just brought such a quirky vision to that whole film.
Yeah.
And those movies, walk that line between, the sort of seriousness of the Marvel universe, and then the kind of wackiness.
Yeah. And Hemsworth's good at it. He can do comedy.
he really can. Yeah.
So yeah, I liked Ragnarok. Might be my favorite of the MCU movies.
I think you're probably right. Yeah. Here's a movie that I feel like I've seen 100 times is Groundhog Day. Have you seen it?
I haven't, but I still got the joke.
Yeah.
So, out of interest, Jay, what
Yes.
is your favorite comedy film of all time? Forget the sci-fi.
Forget the
label.
sci-fi. I might have a slight tie between Ace Ventura and Anchorman.
Oh, two good films.
Yes, I feel like Anchorman actually holds up pretty well. Ace Ventura maybe doesn't, it was a bit of a product of the context of the time. I remember going to see it with a friend and we literally laughed start to finish, like did not stop laughing. I think we were probably annoying everybody in the theater. Anchorman, I actually really like Will Ferrell and I think he deserves an Oscar.
Yeah. So we need to get Tina Fey an Oscar. We need to get Will Ferrell an Oscar.
Yeah.
Steve Martin. We need to get Steve
Jim
an
Carrey.
Oscar.
And
Jim Carrey, yeah.
And I know you love John Candy.
Yeah.
I think I could probably guess what yours is. Let me hear what your favorite is.
My favorite also happens to be the greatest comedy film ever made.
Factually.
Objectively. And that is John Hughes' genius, Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
There it is.
Starring the late, wonderful and truly great John Candy and Steve Martin. And it is perfection. 90 minutes of belly laughing, just like you described about Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
And after 89 of those minutes, then John Candy makes you cry your eyes out, which just shows you what a wonderful actor John was.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is objectively the greatest comedy film of all time.
Objectively, yeah. And I continue to be fascinated by John Hughes and what he did for that era.
Oh, he was fantastic.
I just feel like he had a gift for the relevant, whether it was teens or Christmas or...
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's so unique in his writing style that you're watching a John Hughes film immediately.
Yes.
And even when he didn't direct them, you knew you were watching a John Hughes movie. And I just feel really blessed that I was a kid when John Hughes was making these movies.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with them.
I know.
Home Alone's a brilliant movie. It's just a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
And I love Uncle Buck as well. And we could go through all of his films, but Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for me is the greatest. And I got a little bit of bee in my bonnet. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Oh,
and that is, I read only yesterday that Will Smith is trying to remake it.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I'm screaming no.
Right.
This is not a movie that needs to be remade.
It does not.
Please don't do it.
Yeah.
It will never stand up to the original, and it will be looked upon disfavorably.
Right.
So save yourself a career flop.
Yeah.
And leave it alone, please.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't usually get that. I don't usually
No.
get like that, but I'm sorry. There's certain things you just don't touch.
Now that just objectively makes sense.
It does. It does.
Leave
You
it
know,
alone.
Yeah, leave it alone. You're not going to do any better. That's for sure.
John Hughes just had, like, he could balance the humor,
Yeah.
the like ultra relatable characters, and then the tears.
Yeah, it is. He's gone far too soon, like John Candy,
know.
gone far too soon. It's such a shame they're not here making films now.
I know. I would love to see where he would have gone.
Oh, absolutely. It would have been incredible.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart that those two leads only worked together that one time because we've both read Steve Martin's books and because we're both huge Steve Martin fans, and they clearly loved each other very dearly. John and Steve Martin, John Candy and Steve Martin, they were very close friends, which makes it even sadder that they only worked together the once.
I know.
Because whilst I wouldn't want sequels to that perfect movie, I would want to see those two guys.
Yeah.
I could watch those two guys make 50 other films together and never get bored of seeing them on screen together.
Yeah.
That's my favourite.
There it is.
I'm obviously joking when I say it's objectively the best. There are lots of great comedy films out there, but I'm very protective of it. And my back is up having read that somebody's trying to remake it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you think we'll touch sci-fi comedy again on the pod? Because I don't think we will.
Yeah, unless we get some outraged listeners
Yeah, possibly.
upset that we've been so objective.
You forgot Evolution.
I forgot Evolution.
No, I'm just saying that could be an angry listener, couldn't they? Go, how dare you forget Evolution from 1990, whatever.
It's true. And I would love to hear from them.
I'm not bothered either way, so get in touch with Jeremy.
At the following email address.
Yeah. You can get Jeremy in 1 Canada Street, Ontario, Canada.
I'm actually doing this from my private jet.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm in international airspace.
International airspace.
Yeah, just so I don't, align with any one entity specifically.
Okay. And tax reasons, I presume.
And tax evasion.
Tax evasion, yeah.
That's much easier to evade.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So you pop up to the North Pole.
Yeah.
Just wander around there for a while.
That's right.
And then you're only a resident of Canada for so many days and you can
Yeah.
avoid tax.
Okay. On that note, thanks so much, Ian.
Thank you, Jay.
Hope you have a great week. And
You too, buddy.
Talk to everyone real soon. Thanks so much for listening.
Popcorn in Orbit is produced by the Shooting Eye and Ice River Pictures.